Hi, welcome to Wings for Life. My name is Ann Edenfield-Sweet. I'm the executive director and the founder of Wings, and I am really excited tonight. We have a wonderful speaker. I've known her for many years. She's worked in a variety of fields and well connected here in New Mexico. But she has started and been hired to do a new program called Bank on Berkey for Albuquerque, but actually it's good across New Mexico, and they have similar programs in all the 50 states, or most of the states. So this is a program that if you don't want to deal with overdraft fees, and you don't want to deal with a bunch of surprise fees, and if you don't have a bank account right now, you need to learn about this program because it's absolutely fabulous. And so Delma is going to tell us all about it and how you can sign up. So Delma, welcome.
Thank you, Ann. I am just so pleased to be here and to be able to share with all of you about this great initiative that started at the City of Albuquerque. We're brand new. We just launched in June of this summer, so we're only a few months old, but I anticipate we'll be doing lots of work. So what is Bank on Berkey? Bank on Berkey is a City of Albuquerque initiative for connecting individuals to safe and affordable checking accounts available in our community. Publicly launched, as I said earlier, in June of this year, ensuring that low cost, no overdraft, no surprise fee bank and credit union accounts are an option for unbanked and underserved individuals. The bank on certified accounts at banks and credit unions are safe for consumers. These accounts are available to all individuals in our community and can be found in other parts of New Mexico as well as nationally. There is no income requirement. Requirements are a physical address and identification as required by the financial institution. We'll talk a little bit more about identification in a little bit. This could be for you, could be for a family member, it could be for a young person you know, or your neighbor down the street. So core features of the Bank on Certified Accounts available at Bank on Berkey Financial Institution Partners includes a checking account. It's typically checkless. Being part of a debit card network, low monthly maintenance fees, $10 or less if waivable, $5 or less if not waivable. I will tell you that our accounts are all $5 or less, and a couple of those are waivable. No overdraft or non-sufficient funds fees. How many of us, right, have been hit with those overdraft fees? So easy for them to snowball and turn from $35 to $200 in a matter of a week. So having no overdraft or non-sufficient fund fees is huge. No low balance or inactivity fees, free direct deposit, free and unrestricted ATM access. Keeping in mind that only those in-network ATMs are free. Be sure to look for the seal that's down at the bottom of the slide. A seal like this one will be provided to the Bank on financial institution and will include the name of the account at the top. You want to be sure to look for the name of the account. So what can these features mean for you? Saving money. No more high fees to use check cashing services. For example, if you pay a 3% service charge to cash your $1,000 check, you are losing $30. Keeping your money safe. Cash can be easily lost. Reduce your chances of losing your money by only keeping what you need on hand. You can withdraw your money as you need with access to an ATM. No surprise fees. Fees can sneak up on you. We already talked about this a little bit, but we'll keep mentioning it again. No more overdraft or insufficient fund charges. No more low balance, dormancy, or inactivity fees. These are core features included in these accounts. Paying bills easily and quickly. Save time by paying your bills online from your computer, tablet, or phone. Be part of a debit card network that is free to you for making electronic payments. Saving money and keeping your money safe. Sounds like a good idea, huh? So, how can folks get started? See a list of checking accounts available to you and choose a Bank on Berkey bank or credit union partner that best fits your needs. We're going to look at that list here in a few minutes. This is a website where you will find it. Next, call the bank or credit union you selected to ask about their Bank On Certified account product. Call more than one to compare. Remember to ask the bank or credit union what you need to bring for opening an account. When you decide which bank or credit union you would like to open your account at, schedule an appointment. Before signing for your new account, read all terms and conditions. If there is something you don't understand, ask questions. Never sign if you do not understand. It is always okay to ask questions. So next, let's go to the Bank On Borque website. So you can do a Google search for Bank On Borque, City of Albuquerque Bank On, or enter cabq.gov/bankonborque. Any combination of these words will get you to the website. As we look through the Bank On Borque website, please keep in mind that this information can be translated into other languages by clicking on Select Language under Translate Our Site at the top of the page. So what you see up on the screen now is the home page, which is the first item in the menu on the left. You can also click there in the middle where it says About Bank On Borque to get to the same site or the same page. So on this page, you can find a link to our Bank On Borque brochure, which has much of the same information we finished viewing on the slides previously. The brochure looks like this. The front of it looks like this. It is in English, Spanish, Mandarin, and Vietnamese. The brochures are PDF documents up on the website, very easy to download and easy to print out. So scrolling down the page are some quick facts and a graph that indicates the rates of unbanked households in the USA, that's the line in the orange, and the unbanked households in Albuquerque, that's the line in the blue. Bank On Borque is hoping to affect that blue line in a positive way. So back to the home page, we were going to go to banks and credit unions offering a certified account. This is the page you've been waiting for to see. We anticipate adding more financial institutions in the months ahead, so it'll be good for you to know how to find this information. You can click to this section again by clicking in the menu, or you can also click on the box that says Banks and Credit Unions offering a certified account. So on this page, you will see a short list of the core features of Bank On Certified accounts at the top. We've already kind of gone over that one. And then next, you're going to see the banks and credit unions with the name of their certified checking account right there in the middle. Note also, again, you see the seal right there up there in the corner. Always be sure to look for that Bank On Certified seal. That's important. So let's zoom in and look at our bank and credit union partners. We are so happy to announce, we were able to announce this in June, our 9 financial institution partners. And again, we do anticipate adding a few more in the months ahead. They are all listed alphabetical, along with the name of their certified account in blue hyperlink text. For seeing details about that specific account, click on the blue hyperlink text. It will open up and take you to the page at that bank or credit union site so that you can see some more details. We have 9 bank and credit union partners. Bank of America with their Advantage Safe Balance banking account. We also have Chase with their secure banking account. They are new to Albuquerque. They have a new branch that they opened up in June and anticipate having 5 more locations by December. We also have First National Bank. Oh, we have Discover. They're digital and online only. Don't want to skip anyone. We also have First National Bank Texas, which we know them as First Convenience Bank here in Albuquerque. You'll see them in a lot of Walmart stores. Their account is called the E account. We have Nucinda Credit Union with their Breeze account, Rio Grande Credit Union with Fresh Start Checking. We also have U.S. Bank with Safe Debit account, U.S. Eagle Federal Credit Union with Flex Checking, and Wells Fargo with Clear Access Banking. We are just so happy to welcome these financial institutions to Bank On. So physical location and access can be important. So next we're going to look at the map. So this is as we're scrolling down that screen, right? So the Google map has branch locations of our Bank On Borque Credit Union and bank partners. Be a super helpful tool if physical location is a consideration. Please note the gentle reminder circled in red to refresh the page if the map is not visible. We have found that sometimes it does not completely load, but simply refreshing the page seems to do the trick. So remember that little trick. In addition to seeing locations, we are also providing you with information about each branch location located on the map. In this example, I clicked on the little green icon that the bottom arrow is pointing to. A box with a red header will appear with the name of the credit union or bank, along with the branch name and address. And it will also indicate if that particular branch has a drive-through. Access to a drive-through can be important for some people in needing to take care of their banking needs. So that completes the information on the banks and credit union certified account page. We're back to the home page, and now we're going to go dive into a little bit more detail and look at the account features. So again, on this page, we're still, talking about those core features. We kind of put them in a variety of places to make sure people see those wherever they are at. And please do note that we do indicate when the information on this page is updated. As I mentioned earlier, we anticipate welcoming more financial institutions in the coming months, and we will update the information accordingly. There are 3 charts in this page, so let's look at the first one. The first chart has the account features for each account. Remember that these features are specific to the account listed, and you can also go very easily from this site by clicking on the blue ones to look at the individual accounts if you're needing to go back and forth. At a glance, you can see monthly fees, minimum opening deposit, minimum age, and other requirements. The second chart has ATM and Language Access. Contains information about the ATMs and the languages available at those ATMs. ATMs have a wide variety of languages available. This was very surprising for me as we were getting this information from our financial institutions. We do suggest calling and confirming language availability by branch if that is a consideration for you. Remember also that out-of-network ATMs have a fee, and these are indicated in the last column. If access to ATMs is a consideration, please be sure to check that financial institution's website or at their branch, ask them for a map of where their ATMs are located. Our third and last chart on this page is around alternative IDs. ITNs are accepted at some institutions in lieu of a Social Security number. Other alternative identification that may be accepted are the consular identification card for several places, employment authorization documents, tribal IDs, and school IDs. Each financial institution has a variety on what alternative identification they accept. One of the reasons for putting this chart up here is because many times there's misconceptions about what banks will accept and who can apply for a checking account. So this chart should be helpful with that. That's the end of that particular page. The next item that we're going to look at is the Bank on Frequently Asked Questions, or our FAQ page. So hopefully, if you've got some questions already in your mind right now, you could go to this page and get them answered. Please be sure to check out this website or this page for those questions. And if there's no answers for your questions, please make sure to contact me. After the FAQ is the events and training. Here is another place where you could find additional information. For more in-depth knowledge about unbanked populations and a more in-depth exploration of the website, please click on here to sign up for a webinar. So you can see right here, we have events and training opportunities. We have the dates listed, and then we have the registration link. These are typically 1-hour webinars. They're very open, small group, and so there's a great opportunity there to ask questions. And I also have the website up live so that we can skate around as needed for individual questions. The last page that we have is regarding our coalition. So this page is in regard to deepening and expanding on access to safe and affordable checking accounts in our community. So Ann mentioned to me right before I got here that she had been down at the, where were you at? You were down at the state fair. So Ann was over at the state fair and she says, nobody's heard about Bank on Porque. And I was like, yeah, no, for sure. We're brand new, right? And so part of what we're trying to do is get the word out. And that's part of the next part of the work that we're doing is building a coalition. We will be engaging with partners, philanthropic partners. We have FDIC, we have the IRS on board. So we will be thinking through how do we get word out about these checking accounts. So in addition to connecting people to safe and affordable accounts, we'll, of course, as I just said, raise public awareness, target outreach to the unbanked, and expand access to financial education. So I do like to share on this last part here. Oh, I was already talking about the coalition. I'm going to show you the map of the coalitions across the country. This is not just in Albuquerque. This, again, is part of a national movement. We are part of over 90 coalitions across the country doing this work. Good news to know that we are in good, doing good work with good people all across the nation. So lots of people working together to expand access. So that concludes my part of the presentation for today. I thank you for your time today. The website is listed right here on the page, and of course my email is listed there as well. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Delma. But I'd like to ask you some questions.
All right.
We have a seat here. We've got a little bit of time, and I am very curious about this program. And I know that there are going to be a lot of other people that are curious about this as well.
We hope so. Certainly hope so.
So we're getting our sound working here. And do we have good sound there? So everybody can hear us? This program, it's called Bank on Berkey because Albuquerque.
Right.
But you don't have to, as you shared, you don't have to be in Albuquerque to do this program. You've listed organizations that the banks that are located around the state. And what I think we're going to do, because we want to have good sound here, we're just going to go right back to our microphone. So we didn't know we were going to do the interview kind of thing, but we're going to do it right here. So there we go. We'll just stand right here, Delma, because I've got some questions for you.
That's fine.
So if you are located, let's say in Farmington or Las Cruces or Silver City, if you're in New Mexico, there are some of these branches that are located all over our state. So even though it's Bank on Berkey, then they could go into the website. Let's just use Wells Fargo because that's in so many of our places.
Right.
So they'd be able to do that. Why should somebody get a bank account? Because I know that there are so many unbanked people. So first of all, tell us about unbanked and what that means, and then why should somebody get a checking account?
Okay.
So tell our viewers here today.
So thank you for those questions, Ann. So there's a few there. So let's just start with who's unbanked. So unbanked is someone who doesn't have a bank account at all. And then we also talk about those that are underserved or underbanked, right? And those may be folks that have a checking account but use what we call alternative financial services for other items. They may go to payday loans, they may go to other alternative financial institutions to get some more of what we consider banking needs met, right? So that's the banked and the underbanked. Why should folks get a checking account? Well, that made me think of a question, a survey that I saw from FDIC. FDIC did a survey where they asked folks who were unbanked, why were they unbanked? So the number one reason was they did not feel they had enough money. So $25 or less as of opening deposit for all of our accounts, that's not a lot, right? So again, what we're trying to do with Bank on Porque is address the misconceptions, debunk the myths around banking and having credit unions. Now, of course, having a checking account is important. It's that first step, that foundational step that will launch you into other financial services that you could access at a bank or credit union. So, I mean, this leads you into having a savings account. It leads into being able to apply for loans. So this is that important first step, for sure.
Well, and Delma, I meet so many people, and their banking system is to go somewhere, pay $3-4 now for a money order, then they get the money order, and then they go make the payment, and then they lose their receipt somewhere because there's no record of it, and no money order. You're never going to get a copy of your record of the money order. And then somebody says, hey, I didn't get that payment. So now somebody has spent the money, wasted money on that money order, and now they have no proof of it. When you have a banking account, you always have a record of what has happened to you. And it is a way to keep track of your financial resources. And for most of us, we don't have as much as we'd like to have. And so that means we can pay our bills, we know what we paid, what we haven't paid, and you don't have paperwork just floating around everywhere. So it's so important to have a checking account and a place for your money to go that's safe.
Right. And you know, with the advancement of technology, so many of us have our smartphones. You know, I think part of the learning that's going to be happening as we move and roll this project out is becoming comfortable with using the apps on your phone, because you can see so much on your phone. I myself, when I came onto this project, I had never used the app on my phone. I was very comfortable using my computer, but had never used the app on my phone. So I had to learn and get into my credit unions, and I found out it was a lot easier than I thought, right? So that's a great thing there. Also, that your statements will then come electronically to your email. Again, you talked about having records.
Yes.
That those records are there. Those records will be at the credit union. I mean, I've had to go back and look for a statement from 3 months ago. And it's so nice to be able to get onto my credit union site and look for that back statement, be able to print it out, and be able to do what I needed to do with that. So that you talk about having great records, that is another great thing. And we did mention you can pay your bills, you know, learning how to use the app, learning those features at these banks and credit unions. A mobile bill pay is available for everybody.
Well, and that's so simple. I do all my banking through. I do it on my computer just because it's easier for me. And I'm on my computer all day long, so that's just a natural place for me to be.
Right.
But anyway, I make all those payments. You've got the electronic records. You know exactly when it got paid. And then you know when it's going to pay into that various organization. You're not paying, now stamps have gone to 55 cents. Why are we going to pay for writing a check or trying to do that? And it's just a way of keeping track of your money in a very powerful way. Now also, a lot of people go to those check cashing stations. And they can charge a ridiculous amount of money to cash your check, take a huge percentage. Sometimes people want their money for a Friday, and the check won't clear till a Monday. And those places can take 10-20% of that check in advance. You've worked too hard for that money to be able to give it away to anybody. And another reason a lot of people don't have a checking account, my understanding anyway, and you're the expert here on banking, but that maybe at one point they had a checking account. And then they got all those ridiculous fees. We had a girl that was a returning citizen, was doing community service with us. We had, in the Walmart across the street from our office, McDonald's. She didn't have any money, but she thought she had enough for $1 every day to go in and get her $1 hamburger. Well, come to find out she didn't. And every one of those hamburgers cost her like $37 or some ridiculous amount. She was hundreds of dollars in debt by using a debit card. Now, this program won't allow that, right?
Correct.
It won't allow any of those overdraft fees. Talk about that a little bit more, because people need to know how important that is.
It is so important, and I'm glad that you tell that story. I am going to share that story because
Please
I think
do.
it is so important for individuals to know that. So coming back to people have had a bank account. So another from that FDI survey that I talked about, in there they asked people again who are unbanked if they had previously had a bank account. Over 50% of the folks that are unbanked now previously had a bank account. So folks have tried to have bank accounts, credit union accounts, but for whatever reason, And I think both of you and I want to feel that it's those overdraft fees, because every time I talk about those overdraft fees or the non-sufficient funds fees, everyone raises their hand or can relate to that, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a horrible story. Like I said before, it snowballs, just like the story that you told, right?
Yeah.
So what this checking account does, it does basically that. If the money's not there, you're just going to be denied. But better to be denied than to get a $37 charge
Overdraft
for a $1 hamburger, right?
Yeah. And that was horrible. I mean, literally, she thought that dollar, oh, hey, it cleared. And when she got that bill, I mean, I think she had charged, it was like $600 in overdraft fees. Oh, wow. Now, let's talk about those overdraft fees. And if you did have that account, this poor girl that I'm talking about, and now she wanted to get this bank on account,
right.
What does her whole old banking history do to impact getting this account?
So every banking institution is going to be different, every bank or credit union. So on one of those charts, the first chart that was the account features, look on there and do they accept for previous encumbrances, what's happened. We have several banks that as long as you do not have that you owe them fees, them specifically, they will open an account for you. So again, every financial institution is different, but I am saying there are those institutions that are working that way, and so it's worth it to make that phone call and find out what are their requirements.
And what I'm hearing you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that if somebody does have a horrible credit rating, but they go into this program, the bank is only going to let them spend as much money as they have in that account. So they're not going to let them get into that overdraft situation.
Yes.
Is that's
correct? That is very correct. You will not be able to get into an overdraft situation, which we know has been an issue for lots of folks. I had my sons as teenagers that would constantly get those overdraft fees, and it was. I had a president from one of the credit unions said, you know what, I wish we had thought of doing this a long time ago. We should have done this a long time ago. So definitely financial institutions are behind having these kind of programs and offering these kinds of certified accounts.
Well, and I tell everybody, we do trainings in the prisons and at Wings for Life, as you know, and I tell everybody, if you get a debit card, wow, put a limit on it that you are not allowed to overdraft your debit card, whether you're part of Bank On, Berkey, or any other program. Stop you're allowing yourself, if there's not money in the account, when you put in that debit card, do not let them charge you, because suddenly that dollar hamburger is going to be $38, $39, and no one is prepared for that.
Right.
No one, and especially somebody that's trying to get by with only a dollar hamburger. They can't afford those overdraft fees.
No, for sure. And I will put a word of caution out here, because this has happened to me. Also, I have lots of stories that have happened to me. So, it takes care of the overdraft fees at the financial institution, but you have to be careful about where you charge it, like a P&M bill. This is what happened to me. I entered one digit incorrectly. So I'm protected at the credit union, but I still got that $15 charge over at P&M, right? So you still have to watch for those fees as well, being cautious. But of course, if I'd had one of these accounts, it wouldn't have happened to me, right? So my account was not set up that way. So again, it will not allow for that. So again, using the phone app, I think will be huge. Really educating folks on using that phone app so that you can see and check really quickly what your balance is. What do I have? What do I not have? I think that will help us, with making some good decisions.
And I know you said on your website you've got it about age limits and things like that. But let's say you've got that teenage child, and you're willing to give them a debit card, but only the amount of money they're putting in. At what age can they sign up for this account?
So
what would be the earliest age?
The earliest age on here is 16. I think it's 13 with a parent signing. But for us, sometimes we're working with foster youth. They need an account that's just for them without a parent signature or parent signing for them or guardian. So again, look at the account features. You'll see there's a difference depending on if you want if a parent or guardian can sign or not sign. But early as 16 without a parent or guardian signature.
Wow. I'll tell you, when I heard about this program, I said you had to come in, you had to talk about this, because banking is so important. And first of all, this is the way you start establishing your credit, by having an account somewhere. But then being safe with that account and not getting into those overdraft fees and all those things, having records of what you've paid. And this is the way that you could start to legitimize your finances, you could start to budget, you can really look at your records and see what you're doing. So this is so very important. Title companies can charge up to 834%. One of our speakers at Wings for Life used to be the leader, the director of a whole title company for New Mexico. And I said, why do people do that? And she said, because they went everywhere else and they couldn't get money, and they knew they'd never be able to pay this back at those interest rates, but they desperately needed the money right now. Go to this program, do legitimate banking, get the money that you need. Maybe they're not going to give you the $10,000 that you want, but you've got to start building that credit somewhere. And this is such a powerful program, and it's brand new. Be part of it, no matter where you live in New Mexico, but any other state, go on. So it would be Bank On in Missouri and Florida, whatever. Is that how they would find it?
Exactly. Go to the Bank On Bodke website. Go to where I showed you the coalition map. If you click on there, it will take you to the Join Bank On national site. And on there, you'll be able to see the coalitions. You'll be able to see the accounts. There's 90 coalitions, over 140 different certified accounts across the nation. You can go to the accounts, go up to the top of the page, click on accounts. You'll see the state. Click on the state, and you're going to see all of the accounts that are available in that state. Now, of course, being careful when you go in is you make sure to ask for that specific account. You know, banks and credit unions have a menu. They have a variety of accounts. You got to be sure to ask for that specific account to have these core features.
Yep, so you got to do this Bank On program. So, Delma, thank you for being here. Thank you for this wonderful program. And we want you to have a bank account, period. You got to have one. So this is the way to have one without it costing a lot of money. It might even be free for you. But it is a way to keep your money safe. We all work too hard for our money, so we've got to do this.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to close with a story here.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you so much, Delma. And of course, we're going to go out our breakout rooms, and you could save all your all your questions. I guess I'm hungry here. All your questions for Delma, because we're going to go into that breakout room here in just a little bit. But I always like to close with a story. And I was trying to think of what story did I have that was going to relate. And I found an article that somebody had written, Wallace Ford. He used to be the director for the Presbyterian Church, for all of Presbyterian churches across New Mexico. And it was something that I had saved because I thought it was so powerful. I've edited it down, but this is about investing. So I'm going to read this to you. And so this is Wally Ford saying these words, but I've abbreviated and cut out. It was way too long for me to share. But here are some of his words of advice. I must admit that when I go to the cashier at the filling station, my eye usually catches the present prize for the Powerball, always in the millions, it seems. And I usually generate a quick fantasy about how I could spend my money. Oh boy, boats and cars and new house and travel. Well, you know, each year people spend millions of dollars on such fantasies. These people are investors. They're investing their daily or their weekly discretionary dollars in the lottery, just the way other people would invest their money in the stock market. Like all investors, they're hoping their money will grow in time and as time passes. Well, what does it matter if people spend just a few dollars of their money in the lottery? Well, you know, it actually matters a lot and can mean the difference from being poor or not being poor. Many wealthy people know that if you save just $1 a day, save $1 a day, that means $365 a year, and invest it in shrewdly, but invest it, that you can be a multimillionaire by the age of 65 with just $1 a day invested. Now listen to this one. Lotteries pay back 52.9 cents from every dollar that it takes in. So, of course, the longer you play, the more likely that you're going to win back that 52.9 cents at some point. But if you take that $1 a day investment in the lottery and And it equals, if let's just say you hit every time you're a winner, of course, you know that's not going to happen, that would be $198 each year. But if you take, and the lottery keeps the difference of $171.92 each year, or a negative annual interest rate of negative 47%. The odds here are not good, folks. Now, that consistent $1 a day for 50 years, so let's say you go and you buy that lottery ticket, if you hit, like you hope you're going to hit, boy, you might have $401.60 at the end of 50 years. How much have you spent at that dollar a day? Lotteries work very hard to make people think that gambling a dollar a day has no effect on their future. Except, of course, you're going to win, and you're going to be that multi-million-dollar winner. The lottery can only survive so long as people remain ignorant of the math. Who buys the majority of those lottery tickets? Is there a correlation between a public generally uninformed about the math of the lottery and the common good we seek for our society? If racism, poverty, public health, individual well-being are all intimately linked, how does the state, and New Mexico is one of them, supporting legalized gambling in all of its forms, claim to be responsible for the public well-being? I want you to think about the odds of investing in the lottery, or if you take that $1 a day and you even invest it in a bank, and go to the banker at the bank and say, I want to invest in your savings account $1 a day and put it into something. But if you could talk to a bank and a financial advisor, that $1 a day, you start at an early age, there are many, many multimillionaires because they have done that. So I want you to think about, how are you going to invest your dollar, and is it the lottery, or are you going to be wiser with your money? I hope this whole program today has taught you to think about how important it is for you to be wise with your money. So if you are with us on Facebook and YouTube, this is going to be the end of your program. But now, if you are going to be with us with our Zoom breakout room, of course we want you to do that. Now behind me I have a new sign. We got a new sign because we want you to go to our YouTube channel. You could go to our website, you could just flash on that QR code right there, and we want you to register with us and subscribe. It's called subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing. But when we get so many people that go to our YouTube channel, when we get 1,000 subscribers, guess what? We start making a little bit of money. We're trying to be wise with our money too. So we're asking you would you please just go and subscribe to the Wings YouTube channel? That would help us so much and help us make more money so we could do more programs and help you even more. So thanks for being with us today, and if you're on Zoom, stay tuned because we're going to go right into breakout rooms. Thanks so much, folks. See you next week. Next week, we've got Chris Schuler. He used to be a TV anchor here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and now he does documentaries. He travels the world, and he has done a documentary on COVID and all the myths about the vaccine. So I can't wait to hear about that because he does his research, and he's got his program on PBS. But I said, we need your program on Wings too. So join us next week, hear all about these COVID myths, and let's learn the truth about vaccinations. So folks, thanks for being with us tonight. We sure appreciate you being here. Thank you, and have a great night.